as we say, this is episode 2 of the JDB Sport Cap Doubleheader. I did the Final Four preview earlier on the first part of the doubleheader of JDB Sport Cap. So this time it's real. It's a real show this time. It's a real talk this time here. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. So that's why I gotta do this doubleheader thing this week, because I'm off tomorrow because it's Easter weekend and I'll be back on Monday. So we will get to that, but we'll get to that by the end of the show. We'll explain that later. Let's get this show started. How about that? First off, we have breaking news in the NFL. It's about the Las Vegas Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders have Kirk Cousins have agreed. The Las Vegas Raiders have agreed to a 5-year, $172 million contract with the Raiders. It's considered a long-term contract for sure. For potentially to possibly, the Raiders are still drafting Fernando Mendoza as the number 1 pick of this draft. So I'm going to ask the serious question about the Raiders signing Kirk Cousins. Did the Raiders make a mistake to sign Kirk Cousins a 5-year deal? Oh, hell yeah. They did make a mistake. You damn right they made a mistake. Because it feels like this contract is getting ridiculous right now. Remember Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year deal with the Falcons in 2024? He didn't make it to 4 years with the Falcons. He only made it to 2 years, and he got released. And then he signed a 5-year contract with the Raiders. So they did make a mistake. They made a big ass mistake. I love Kirk Cousins to death, but come on, man, you can't give him a 5-year deal. You can't do that. I'm sorry I had to harm you on this one, but do you think Kirk Cousins deserves to be a starter for 5 straight years? Hell no. He ain't gonna make it. He ain't gonna make it to 5 damn years. I'm not going to accept all of this. Because we got one player, you're going to screw it up. And then if Kirk Cousins doesn't play well, you can take your no-show ass off the team. You can really take that. It's undeniable. What happened? Raiders, you signed Kirk Cousins a 5-year deal? Come on, man. That doesn't make any damn sense. You gotta be kidding me, man. Remember Kirk Cousins signed a 4-year contract with the Falcons in 2024 offseason, and then he got released after 2 seasons, and then he signed a 5-year deal with the Raiders. Come on, man. You got to sign a minimum contract. You got to sign like a 1-year or 2-year deal. 5 years? Oh, come on. Come on, man. That's too much. By the way, Kirk Cousins is 37 years old. Kirk Cousins is 37 years old. You gonna give him a 5-year deal? Come on, man. You just can't do that. I mean, this is what happened. This is what happened with Tom Brady. I love Tom Brady to death, but boy, come on, man. You got to do better than that. The contracts, the money, the tax. The Raiders are still going to draft Fernando Mendoza. That's a good thing. And now, as far as I'm concerned, it looks like Kirk Cousins is going to start for a little bit to start the regular season and delay Fernando Mendoza as a starter. That's a problem. I mean, this is the Raiders team. They won 3 games last year. They won 3-14 last year. Why did you sign Kirk Cousins? This has got to be the biggest mistake in Raiders history. What the hell are you doing? You know what? Even though I'm gonna call someone out. I'm gonna call out who signed a 5-year deal, and then I understand I'm going off because I'm going off with someone because I just don't like the fact that they signed a 5-year deal with Kirk Cousins. I just don't like it. Come on. This is tough. This is absolutely BS. This is BS. I can't say that word in a full sentence, but you kidding me, man? You gotta stop signing 5-year deals with new teams. With 5-year deals and stuff, that stuff ain't gonna work. Come on, man. That's a damn shame. You make this thing even worse. You signed Geno Smith, and he got released, and he went back to the Jets. And now you signed Kirk Cousins. Is Kirk Cousins a good quarterback? Is Kirk Cousins one of the most elite quarterbacks in the NFL? No. Is he lucky enough to win football games? Yes. I mean, you put too much understanding when this is all about if you don't trust yourself. Now, you think about Kirk Cousins signing a 5-year contract with the Raiders. You think you're going to get around this stuff right now? Nah, that's not going to work. Nothing works. Because of that, this is the problem. When you sign this big ass contract and you don't even show up to work. You don't even show up to play football. You ain't gonna go down. Nah. This is crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm mad because the Raiders decided to sign Kirk Cousins. I'm mad as hell. I like Kirk Cousins. Some people are happy for him. But you know the reason why I'm not happy that the Raiders have signed Kirk Cousins? The Raiders still going to draft Fernando Mendoza. That's understandable. They want to ensure that someone Fernando Mendoza can learn from Kirk Cousins. If he starts, then they can learn from it. It's going to take games, weeks, years to develop consistency. Fernando Mendoza, he wanted to deserve to be a starter to start the season. It hasn't been started yet, however. When you sign Kirk Cousins, Raiders fans are showing a lot of difficult time right now. It's been a difficult day. For me, it is a difficult day because this is bad because you forget about Kirk Cousins about that, but you need to tell me that the Raiders want Kirk Cousins for 5 years. You want him to do that, huh? That can't be true. You gotta sign it. If you sign for 5 damn years, this is an issue. This is an absolutely quarterback recon. You know what? Going into the preseason, we're going to have a quarterback stress test. Excuse me. We're going to have a quarterback stress test. If I like what I see, we're going to get started. At least you can mentor him. That's okay. But at the end of the day, I'm happy for him. At least he's just signed with the Raiders. He just wants to mentor the Heisman Trophy winner, Fernando Mendoza. I mean, I applaud that. I applaud that Kirk Cousins going to the Raiders for 5 years and mentor Fernando Mendoza, just in case. Sorry. Just in case if Mendoza doesn't start full time to start the year. And Clint Kubiak is the Raiders head coach. So I hope Kirk Cousins gets along with Clint Kubiak this season. So after a disastrous season last year for the Raiders, let's see the Raiders season show signs of improvement. I said some improvements as far as wins and development. I think Raiders will still be last place team. Raiders will be still last place team in the AFC West. They'll probably win up to 5 games, which is a few more better than they were in previous years. So the Raiders have signed Kirk Cousins for 5 years for $172 million. But for reality, they said 1 year fully guaranteed, which means he could release after the season. So they guarantee for 2026 season. And then if he makes it the next 4 years, then he could retire when the 5-year deal is completed. So Raiders have signed Kirk Cousins for 5 years, $172 million, but a guarantee for 1 year in reality for 2026. So almost forgot because I almost got that mixed up. So we'll see how that works. All right, coming up next, the Boston Celtics had an explosion first quarter against the Miami Heat. We'll get to that a little bit later. Was it enough for the Boston Celtics? Also coming up, Spurs to the Warriors recap. But is Victor Wembanyama, should Victor Wembanyama be MVP or what? And also coming up, should the Philadelphia Eagles be concerned as far as offensive coaches? And then tonight, today I'm going to preview between Luka versus SGA, battle of the MVPs. So the battle of potential MVPs, SGA reigning MVP versus Luka MVP candidate. The game is in Oklahoma City tonight. We will step away in 3 minutes. All right, so the Celtics played the Heat last night in Miami. And the Celtics, Jaylen Brown had 43 points. Jason Tatum had 23 points. 18 rebounds, and actually Jason Tatum had 25 points, 11 assists, 18 rebounds, which is a triple-double. First triple-double for Tatum this season. Sam Hauser had 23 points. Kata had 16, Garza had 12. Pritchard had 14 off the bench. As the Celtics used a 53-point first quarter explosion. They outscored the Heat in the first quarter 53-33 against the Heat. Eventually, they go on to win it over the Heat 147-129. And the Celtics complete a 4-game season series sweep. As the Celtics shot 58% from the field, we have combined 25 made three-pointers, 24 for the Heat, 21 for the Celtics. Points were in a premium. Let's start with the Boston Celtics. Celtics pick up their 51st win of the year. Who do you think had a better performance as for the Celtics? Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown? I'm going to say Jaylen Brown for sure. He had a better performance as far as efficiency. Jaylen Brown has 7 assists as well. He only committed 1 turnover, which is pretty good. 4 3-pointers, 17 made field goals. That's what he's done best. Jaylen Brown being a productive player. That's been the key so far this season. Jaylen Brown needs to be productive, and he has been great for the Celtics this year. That led this team to victories. But in the time, because of that, it's about several teams that can get it done, and Jaylen Jaylen Brown has done that every single time. As for Jason Tatum, 25 points, 18 rebounds, 11 assists, couple of steals. He's done his part last night as well. I mean, he's spreading the ball around, he's getting rebounds and all that stuff. I mean, if Jason Tatum is the best rebounder on this team, and that's what's been missing for much of the season. They don't have A-plus potential rebounders, but Jason Tatum is the only man he can rebound. So that was really crucial for them. Getting Jason Tatum back this late in the season, it's a critical matter. Because the Celtics only lost 2 games since Tatum came back. Celtics are 10-2 since Jason Tatum returns to the court. That's always a good sign for the Celtics. This team is showing a bunch of resiliency. They have a better chance to get to the NBA Finals. Look at the rest of the East right now. Pistons are without Cade Cunningham. I don't know when Cade Cunningham is coming back. As for Sam Hauser, he had a nice game. 23 points, 5 made 3-pointers, 9 made field goals. He had a steal in the block as well. Just been talking about everyone is contributing. Game in and game out. It's about consistency. The Celtics and Nkata had a nice game. 16 points, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks. I mean, there's so many good contributions for the Celtics' victory last night. Meanwhile, for the Heat, even though they lost, they still mustered 129 points. And Bam Adebayo led the team with 29 points, 5 made 3-pointers. Davion Mitchell also had a nice game, 21 points, 5 made 3-pointers, 8 made field goals, and 7 assists. And then Pierre Larson had 18 points, 6 assists. And then Tyler Hero struggled. He had 18 points, 5 for 15 from the field. Jaime Jaquez, 7 points. And then Andrew Wiggins, much better 3-point shooter this year. I mean, despite the loss, the Heat got some contributions. The reason why however, speaking of contributions, the Heat scored 45 points in the third quarter to try to keep the game close. At the end of that third quarter, it was 112-102 Celtics. It was a 10-point Celtic lead after 3. And then the fourth quarter began. Give me a second. The fourth quarter began. It was 104-100. It was 114-105 when the lead was down to 9. That's when the Celtics lead was down to 9. Since the 10:41 mark, the Celtics finished 33. Hold on. Celtics win a 33-24 run by the Celtics in the final 10 minutes and 41 seconds left to play. The reason why he lost last night, the Heat offense wasn't bad last night. They scored most times, but the Heat cannot stop anyone. The Heat defense cannot get stops. The Heat's been struggling defensively most of the year. But he's always been a good defensive team for most of these years. But this season it's been a struggle. It's been a struggle defensively for much of the season. And during the stretch as well. And we've just been talking about the Heat has surrendered at least 120 points in almost every game during that stretch. And they surrender at least 40% from three-pointer. So Eric Spoelstra is frustrated as far as lack of communication. He is dealing with defensive communication issues and lack of court defensive recognition. You have to recognize on defense. If you don't recognize, they're gonna outwork you every time offensively against you. So that was the worst case scenario, to get every point and stuff. You really hate to see this situation. All right, so coming up next, we will talk about the Spurs and the Warriors. Is Victor Wembanyama, do you think Victor Wembanyama is going to win the MVP or someone else? And then should the Eagles be concerned as far as offensive coaches, Jalen Hurts expressing his concerns? We'll talk about that a little bit later. And then Luka versus SGA between the Lakers and the Thunder. Game is in OKC tonight. I'll talk about that as the show will continue after this. The San Antonio Spurs score out the Golden State Warriors to wrap up the season series. Victor Wembanyama, another outstanding performance for the San Antonio Spurs. He went 41 points, 18 rebounds, 3 blocks. As the Spurs with a 127-113 victory. And the season series between the Spurs and Warriors are split 2 wins apiece. So each team has won 2 road games this season. So the Spurs improved to 58-18, and they're inching closer to pick up their 60th win of the season. They need 2 wins to get to 60-win mark. Spurs could become the second NBA team to reach 60 wins. Thunder became the first to do it. And the Warriors dipped to 36-40 on the season. It's been a really tough season. Tough season continues for the Warriors. Let's talk the San Antonio Spurs. And let's talk Victor Wembanyama. I want to talk the entire Spurs team, despite the win yesterday. They're now 26-2 since February 1st. That's the best 2+ month stretch of all time in the NBA. That is the best record in a play-in era over that 2-month stretch. The play-in era began since 2020. So we talk about that, the best record in the play-in era, which means it could be in the top 6 or in the play-in. 26-2 since February 1st. You think the Spurs are a championship team? Yes, they are. The way I see it, the Spurs are a championship team. Even with Mitch Johnson, with a Coach of the Year consideration, Victor Wembanyama, Defensive Player of the Year, MVP consideration. We'll get to that in just a few moments. But it's about supporting cast other than Wembanyama. Champagne, Vassell, Fox, Castle. Then you got a veteran, Harrison Barnes. He won a championship with the Warriors. You had Bryant. You got Harper. You got Kelvin Johnson. You got a few other members of the San Antonio Spurs. We've seen some decent contributions for the San Antonio Spurs. Even they don't have Cornette. He'll be back before the season comes to an end. The San Antonio Spurs are one of the most complete teams in the NBA. Even the expectations has been partially low. Not very low, partially. Which means their expectation is a play-in team and a playoff team as a low seed, as 7 seed. But they surpassed their expectations. They won 58 games, playoff bound. They can clinch no worse than 4 seed. They can clinch top 2 in the West. Number 1 seed is not out of the question yet. The Spurs only 2 games back of the Thunder for the number 1 spot. So if Spurs can keep winning and Thunder loses, if they lose roughly 2 games, and the Spurs could be the best team in basketball. They could easily finish 64-18, and Thunder could easily finish 62-20. Thunder would be the number 2 seed, and Spurs would be number 1. And about most of the time, they made the finals and won the championship. Best record in basketball ends up winning the championship. It's about health. It's about trust, potential. Matter of fact, Spurs got championship potential. We haven't seen that for years now. And now here we are. Here we are. All right, should Victor Wembanyama win the MVP? Well, I'm going to consider this. How about this? I'm going to give Victor Wembanyama and SGA a co-MVPs this year. And here's why here's why I'm going to put Wembanyama and SGA as co-MVPs, because they both had solid years. But I like the fact that both SGA and Wembanyama deserve to be co-MVPs, because it's a really close race. It's a close race right now. And Wembanyama has been the hottest player in the game. Victor Wembanyama has been red hot over the last few months. The way it turns out, it's a different story. It's something you go around, but you gotta understand the situation that you're coming at it. That's the key. The San Antonio Spurs. We have a number of guys who can really step up and take advantage. And that's the key right now. So I applaud that in this one here. All right, so coming up next on JDB's Morning Cap, we'll talk about Eagles. Should they be concerned going into 2026 season? Then we'll preview Lakers and Thunder, SGA versus Luka, battle of MVPs or potential MVP. So we'll have to find out as this show goes on. So JDB's Morning Cap show will continue right after the break. Welcome back here at the Philadelphia Eagles, finishing the 2025-26 regular season 11-6, back-to-back NFC East Division towns. However, they suffered an NFC wild card loss to the San Francisco 49ers. And then Kevin Patolo was let go as offensive coordinator after one season. And now the Eagles are just waiting for a steady situation. So now I'm going to ask this critical question. Should the Eagles be concerned as of right now? Technically, they should be concerned in Philadelphia. I mean, there's no questions asked. We just were talking about someone wanted to know that Philadelphia Eagles aren't just, you talk about the offensive coaches and let's say your team is going to go downhill. And now, with Jaylen Brown remains the Eagles. Right now, I have more questions than answers still. What should the Eagles do this season? Well, they have guys on the same roster in 2026. Maybe the production for the Eagles offense is expected to be different. I think the offense last year struggled. This year, the production is going to get even worse for Philadelphia. It's hard to describe because you have trouble to get along with these guys. It's just like that. There's several moments that you're going to hold on to. There's several moments you're going to hold on to, but you might be okay with that. But it's about team differences, and you don't want anyone to step it up. That's the key. Philadelphia, this is you're going through a tough situation like this. Then you really want to have it, but so this is the part of the game that you don't want anything to do with. Philadelphia, really, when I look for the Philadelphia Eagles, what's the season is going to look like? But who are the offensive coaches since 2020? Offensive play callers, I should say. Doug Peterson, 2020. Shane Steichen from 2021-22 season. And then Brian Johnson, 2023-24 season. And then you had Kellen Moore, 2024-25 season. You had Kevin Patolo, 2025-2026 season. And then now Sean Manaman is the new offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. He came from the Green Bay Packers. And how's the Eagles going to respond in 2026? We just don't know right now. We don't know right now. There's a lot of questions right now for Philadelphia. At this point, the Eagles are going to miss the playoffs in 2026. I just don't see Philadelphia getting in because it felt like Philadelphia has no shot. I mean, Jalen Hurts maybe regress. Excuse me. Yeah, the NFC East division expect to be even competitive. Maybe the record is not going to be there, but you never know. You never know. Those games are really going to matter the most if that's going to be the case. Yeah, you didn't have a difference. You can make as many differences as you can, and that's about it. But it's not much of a problem at all. And for that information, you don't want to see it. You didn't even want to see it right now here in Philadelphia. But that's the problem. You just don't want to see them struggling. It's absolutely painful for the Philadelphia Eagles fans. It's painful. You really hate to see this. This is a situation. It's really tough right now. It's a tough world right now. It's absolutely a tough world right now. When you're in this situation, when you can't get through it, that's the problem. That is a problem. You're embarrassing anyone else on your team. And there's no questions asked. And this is what happened when you had somebody get back in it, and this is only a different story. But this isn't the worst case scenario. This isn't the problem. Now you got Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Carter. Lane Johnson, Quinyon Mitchell, Jordan Davis, Cooper DeJean. The list goes on and on. You gotta mark someone. Where's the Eagles' production going to come from? And then Dallas Goedert as well. The production is going to be key for the Eagles by going forward. It won't change his bad habits as much as possible. You wouldn't change that, did you? See if the Eagles can make some changes down the stretch of the season. All right, coming up next, we'll talk Luka versus SGA. We're going to preview tonight's game between the Lakers and the Thunder. The game is in Oklahoma City. Thunder leads the season series 2 games tonight. Will Lakers do different this time after they dropped the first two? Will Lakers do different this time after the Lakers have dropped the first 2 games of the season series against the Thunder? We'll have to find out tonight as we start the new month. Lakers try to hold on to the top 3 of the West, especially that 3rd seed. And then we'll wrap it up. What's coming up on our next episode, we'll get to that right after this. Tonight, we got the Oklahoma City Thunder will host the Los Angeles Lakers tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern on Prime Video. Game 2 of the Prime Video Doubleheader. First one will be Timberwolves and the Pistons. Tip-off begins at 7 Eastern in Detroit. So Lakers and Thunder scoring off the third game of the 4-game season series. These two will see each other. These two teams will see each other twice over the next, what's today, April 3rd? April 2nd. April 2nd. They'll see them twice over the next 5 days. Today and in April 7th in Los Angeles. So Lakers take on the Thunder tonight. Lakers are 50-26. Thunder 60-16. So let's talk about this. How about Luka versus SGA? Let's start with Luka Doncic first, as it develops here. Luka is having a tremendous season. In fact, he is candidate for the MVP consideration. So I'm going to ask the question, what do you think about Luka Doncic about this season? Let's just say when Luka scores and performs at a high level, in a high leverage, against high leverage teams, those are the games you have to score for. And now Luka's pressure, Luka Doncic is under the most pressure right now. The way he's been playing out of his mind, game after game after game, he's done everything he contributes. Even when LeBron was out, even when Austin Reeves was out, even anyone else is out, he still put up big time numbers. When he does so, he's been really consistent. And when I was watching Luka, he can ball. He can ball in, he can ball out. He can ball out every single game. But how the Lakers need how the Lakers can do different this time after they dropped the first 2 games against the Thunder. Lakers offense need to be more efficient. That's the key. Lakers offense need to be more efficient. And the defense, and they need to neutralize SGA to make sure he doesn't score over 25 points. If you hold him to 20 or fewer points, that's a huge win for the Lakers. If you hold him to 20 points or less for SGA, that's a huge win. Because the game would be close. The only problem is you have Holmgren and Jaylen Williams playing tonight. So that's going to be a little bit disadvantage. This isn't going to help. Because of that, you always force your issue. And you got to take your time tonight. Luka's one of the best in the game at it. It's just because of that. So, something else you wanted to explain? Something else about that? You want someone to do it with it. This one here. So, let's see how the Lakers can respond. This one, we'll see how that goes here. Let me take a break for 15 seconds. Meanwhile, for the Thunder is now 60-16, best record in the NBA. They're like 3 wins to possibly to become, they can clinch at least the best record in the NBA. No worse than number one seed. They need to win up to 5 more games. They need to win five more games to ensure the Spurs doesn't take the number one seed away from the Thunder. But the biggest one I want to talk about is SGA. He's played out of his mind. Every game. SGA's played out of his mind. Over the last roughly 15 plus games, he scored at least 25 points in almost each and every one of those games. You know how unbelievable he was? In games he shot the ball well, in other games he struggled, but they still managed to come through in the clutch. You still managed to come through in the clutch. And that's the key right now, because this is a situation that you're going at right now. There's a pattern you really wanted to see. But it works. It truly works. And it's something else you really want to explain. That's someone you really want to know. It's just because of this. So and you cannot expect anything to put things around that. So we will have to do it elsewhere at this point on. So thanks to this, you would have thanked a lot. You would have thanked enough for all these people at this point here. All right, who would I like to win today, Thunder or the Lakers? This is a close call, but I think Thunder wins tonight. Both SGA and Luka will both have at least 30 points tonight. LeBron will have like at least 20 points. But the Thunder is going to win here at home. They've been outstanding at home, by the way. So you keep that in mind. All right, let's close it out here. What's coming up on JDB's Morning Cap? On Monday, we will recap the men's Final Four. We'll recap the Women's National Championship. That game is on Sunday. Women's Final Four starts tomorrow. Men's Final Four is on Saturday. And then we'll talk NBA playoff implications. Not just this coming Monday, the entire next week, as the final week of the regular season begins next week before we start the play-in tournament week and then playoffs. NBA playoffs will start on April 18th. So path to the NBA finals will start on April 18th. So we'll see how that, we're going to keep our fingers crossed here at this point here. I will not do a talk show tomorrow because it's Good Friday, Easter weekend is this Sunday. Easter Sunday is this Sunday. So I'm going to get extra days of rest to make sure I'm healthy enough to do a talk show this Monday. I'm going to enjoy my Easter weekend myself. And what's best for this? This is JDB's Morning Cap. I'm out of here. It's time to say enjoy the rest of your Easter weekend. And I hope you have a blessed and resurrection weekend as well. This is JDB's Morning Cap. We'll see you on Monday.